Hello and welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, hi, I'm Avery, and if you're old here, welcome back. What's up? How's it going? So, first off, some general little housekeeping. I am kind of tilted. There we go. Now I'm straight. Second of all, back to the general housekeeping. Sorry about the last video. I don't know why it uploaded so weird with the big black borders. I really think it's only because I was using my computer to film. I was using photo booth. That's the only thing I could think of. So that's my assumption. We're gonna try it again. I'm shooting on my phone this time, so fingers crossed it should be better. But let's get into it. We are going to be talking about books, and more books. So I have two piles of books here. These, well, yeah, I have two, but I gotta restock these ones. These are gonna be books that I have read this year. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books done for the year. My goal is to read 15, so we're gonna talk about these 6. And then my 2 currently reading, I don't know why, but I grabbed my Kindle. So here's my Kindle. I have the Kindle Oasis. This is primarily what I read most of my books on. But anyways, we're gonna talk about my books. So we're gonna start with the books I read this year, and I do have to grab my iPad because I forget. So let me open this on up and let's get started. We're gonna start with the first book on the list, which was a one-day read for me. This is Unsteady. This book got a 5-star review from me. I think one of my only 5 stars thus far since I've been reading. It is coming in at 357 pages. It is a hockey romance. It is considered contemporary romance since it is set in modern day, but it is fictional. I am absolutely obsessed with it. I have reread it twice since I finished it, and this was a one-day read for me. The main character, Reese, and Sadie, so Reese is now a book boyfriend. We shouldn't be shocked. And Sadie is his girlfriend. It's the very typical hockey story where she's a figure skater and she's like, I can't fall in love with a hockey player. And then what do? They fall in love. But I genuinely loved this one. And to anyone who likes hockey romance, I'm gonna tell you right now, go pick up Unsteady, download on your Kindle. If you know me, you can borrow my copy. I love it. Don't have a single complaint. Literally love it. Normally, I will like to point out that this does have a playlist. This playlist, compared to other book playlists that I've gotten, is 2 pages, which is so different because most of these you barely get 1. I will let you know though, it is mostly 2000s emo rock, but just read it. I mean, you can find the playlist on Spotify. I'm sure there's one on Apple Music. I loved it. I like the way they fit together. I think that's why I liked this book so much, because they work. On to our next book, Wildfire. Me and Wildfire. Me and Miss Ma'am. Me and Wildfire. Did I read Icebreaker? Yes. Did I love Icebreaker? Yes. It got a 4-star review from me, personally. But let's talk about Wildfire. So Wildfire is the second book in the Maple Hills series, which is Icebreaker. I brought this book with me to Dallas when I flew to see P1 Harmony, and then I still didn't have it finished. So I picked it up again and I brought it with me to Spain. 383 pages. It got 3.5 stars from me. This book was so hard for me to get into. Actual start date was February 13th. End date was May 22nd. I only read it in 3 days. Like, I read this book for 3 days, but I just, like, for the love of me, every time I picked it up, I got to a point where I was like, I don't want to keep reading, and then I would set it down and then just not touch it. That was my problem with it. I wish we got to see more of the Maple Hills characters that are in Icebreaker and Wildfire. We fell so in love with them, and then we get none of them. That's probably my biggest complaint. I do like Russ and Aurora's relationship, though, and they are very good together. The whole, like, slow burn thing also isn't for me, which this book is a lot of slow burn. So, yeah, that's Wildfire. Our next one is The Big Boy, Kingdom of Ash. This book, I'm gonna have to look at my library on I have a book journal on GoodNotes that I use for a majority of my reading to, like, log it, because I read so much. Okay, started this January 6th, which technically means I did read Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn this year, but I had started them in December, so I don't have them on this list. I finished this book probably in April. I want to say April. I can't remember what day, but my Audible has my last listened to, so I could go look at that. But I'm going to go with April, just don't know the exact day. For those of you who don't know, this is a big boy. She is chonky. She is chonky. She comes in at 980 pages. This is the final book in the Throne of Glass series, which I will be talking about at one point. I just have to sit down and try my hardest to make it spoiler free, or just put all the spoilers in one part. This book got a 5-star review. This book ripped my heart out, shredded it. I loved it. I loved this book. I primarily read on my Kindle and used Audible to get through it, because it is pretty big. It's literally like, here's my hand to book comparison. So it's a pretty big book. I can't even process the fact that the series is still done in my head. All you need to know is that Throne of Glass for me is definitely a 5-star series. It's a 5-star read. It's not my favorite book of the series, but definitely one of my favorites. I would say this is probably like my 3rd book of the series that I like absolutely love. I loved it. It was so good. Such a good read. Please, if you haven't read Throne of Glass, go check out other content creators. A lot of people have talked about it, and I will put out my own video soon discussing this book and all the wonders of it. I mean, I don't want to even tell you guys my favorite part, because I'm going to give out spoilers if I do. But if you haven't read the series, let's just skip, or if you don't mind spoilers, you can watch this. I loved everything that Elite did in this book. Elite is my favorite character, and I'm a little mad at Miss Moss because she did Aileen like that, but I do also see it as a gift because she didn't want all that power. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautifully written book. Do not have a single complaint. I don't. You can't tell. Chef's Kiss loved this thing. I like the way they're just slowly spreading. On to my last 3 books that I have here. We're going to go with my most recently finished book, which should be on page 6. No? Let's try page 6. It wasn't. It is on page 7. Same Time Next Summer. 4-star read from me. Really good read. I don't hate it. I just think I'm a little too young for it. The main character's 30. I'm 24, so a little too young. As you guys can see though, I will get this up close and personal. I did color coordinate the book. So all the green is like current, and then I did like for the past, they have a different color, and then all my favorite quotes are in blue so I can remember where they are. There were a lot of really good quotes in this book though. Like, I really liked creating art is about being vulnerable, enough time to invite people to spend time in your skin, and I can't think of a better skill to teach. Loved that. I didn't write a review for some reason. I just finished this book though, so I am going to say I enjoyed it a lot. I liked the way how she kind of just like realized what she wanted, and I do like second chance romances, so this was right up my alley despite me feeling like I'm a little too young for this book. But yeah, I mean, like, I can't complain. She goes with her fiance to the beach for summer. They're trying to pick out a wedding venue. Her parents want her to get married on the beach, and she runs into her high school ex-boyfriend. They decide they can be friends. They be friends for a bit, and then like some stuff happens with her fiance, and then her and the guy end up together. It's like, it's just good. It was a good read. Good read. Cannot complain. I'm gonna say could not, like, literally, why do I keep saying cannot complain? Like, that's gonna, I don't know why, that's like my saying for today. On to my first finished book of the year, Bride by Ali Hazelwood. Now, when I saw this on Book Talk, people were up in flames. People loved it, people hated it. I love a controversial book. I also grew up in the Werewolf AO3 era. The Werewolf Wattpad era, if you will. Harry Styles werewolf. Constantly. I read after. And before it was a movie, okay? Before it was a published book and before it was a movie. I also read the boxer Harry Styles one. I can't remember that name, but if you guys know the one I'm talking about, not after, that's like biker Harry Styles. I'm talking like professional boxer Harry Styles. That one I read, okay? OG fanfiction girly here. When I saw this, and when I saw it was Ali Hazelwood, I have not read one of her books yet. I have every single book on her bookshelf, and I have every single intention of reading Love Theoretically before the end of the year, okay? Before the end of the year, that book will be read. This book, me and Valerie did a tandem read. There's a whole Patreon episode for our podcast, AVHD, where we deep dive into this book. So, I'm not going to deep dive too much into it. If you want to listen to that, like, go follow the podcast, AVHD, then the Patreon's up, and then you can go listen to us rant about Bride. You just have to know this read was a 4-star read for me. It had me gasping. I was hooked from the start. I took a little reading break because Valerie wasn't reading and I didn't want to finish the book before her. That's why it took me a little bit longer to read. But let me tell you right now, Misery's character growth is actually really, 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 like, I'm impressed with her growth as a character in this entire series. I'm going to my favorite quote so I can tell it to you guys, but I gotta get there first. Her growth in this series is very telling of who she is as a character. Now, this book, if you read those werewolf fanfics on the internet when you were developing as a small child like I was, you know that all the werewolves are shockingly rich somehow. They are typically in finance. I'm looking for a werewolf in finance. 6'5". Most of them have brown eyes. That is like the premise for every AO3 werewolf fanfic you're ever gonna read. They're always in finance. They're always tall. They have muscles, brown hair, brown eyes. Like that is the trope. That is the trope for werewolf fanfics. And this hit that trope on the head. And so another thing is like mates are talked about in this book, which is like, listen, as a werewolf fanfic enjoyer, I am not mad. The fact that she's a vampire, and I like the fact that Ali made vampires a little bit different than vampires the way they are, because, like, let's be honest, sometimes vampires can be a little OP, and sometimes they just don't need to be a little OP. I enjoyed this a lot. I think you guys should go give it a read. I'm gonna give you guys my favorite quote from the book. And I think if you guys are one of my followers, or you listen to me yap on the podcast with Valerie, you guys all need to go listen to Bride. Like, if you have read Bride, comment a wolf below. You know, I need to know. I need to know. So, here's the quote. I'm afraid, Misery. I'm terrified. Of what? That there's no world, no scenario, no reality in which I'll gracefully allow you to leave me. If I don't let you go now, 5 years, 5 months, 5 days down the line, I won't be able to. Every second I want you too much. Every second I'm on the verge of wanting you more. Every second is my last chance to do the decent thing, to let you live your life without taking up all of it. That is his name Lo? Lo. That is Lo talking to Misery. I had to make sure it was Lo. I wanted to say Lowe's, and I was like, okay, look, I don't think she would name her main character after a hardware store. That is Lo talking to Misery. I will also say, too, a big thing for vampires in this world is that, like, they don't have feelings. They're emotionless. Vampire. No feelings. No emotions. No expressions. And Misery starts to gain feelings and emotions, which is a big thing in the book. You do also get a scene, and people who've read the book know what I'm talking about. You do get a scene of the two of them that is very different than, like, normal books, but the vampire feeds off the werewolf, and that is all I'm gonna say. But I think you guys should go check this out. 4-star read, can't complain. I mean, I only have 1 5-star for the year, so I liked it. Now, on to the last book in our talk today. I don't know why I'm getting an accent all of a sudden. I am sorry. Our last book that I will be discussing is The Duke and I from the Bridgerton series. Yes, this is the Netflix cover, okay? Just wanted to get that out of the way before anyone's like, is that the Netflix cover? Yes. So, Bridgerton season 3 came out. All my friends, Avery, gotta go watch Bridgerton. Avery, gotta go watch Bridgerton. Me. Isn't that a book series? Then yes, but you gotta go watch it. I have a very strict, and the only time that I've broken this is with Twilight, and everyone keeps telling me I need to read Twilight, and I think I'm at the point where I can read Twilight because I haven't watched the movies in a long enough time. But Bridgerton was on sale at Target. I saw this and I said, people keep telling me to read it. I'm gonna give it a read. So I brought it with me to Spain. This book got a 3-star read. It is 438 pages. I do plan on finishing the series because apparently the series is really good. Both the Netflix series and the TV series, like the book series. So I will do a full series review on Bridgerton. I do want to get the different covers though. I don't really like the show covers. Let me just tell you, I gotta look at my notes that I wrote for myself here. Daphne in the book, completely different girl, completely different character. I liked book Daphne more than TV show Daphne. Book Daphne knows a little bit more than TV show Daphne about, like, life and stuff, and I do appreciate that. Also, too, a big difference between the books and the TV shows is Daphne is not debuting for the first time. If you didn't know, I'm sorry, but, like, they cover that in the first, like, 3 pages of this book. She's on her 3rd or 4th season, so she's 20. So, like, she knows stuff, okay? She's 20. I will say, too, the older brothers, so Colin, Bennett, and Anthony, are just himbos. They are himbos. Simon's also a himbo. Like, they're just lovable little idiots. The fight in the book, to me, was much more emotional than the one in the TV show. There also wasn't that awkward, like, brooding walking around. So I personally think if I read this book and wasn't reading it to watch the TV show, I might have not enjoyed it as much, because for me, I do like enemies to lovers. I'm not a big marriage of convenience person. This is marriage of convenience. It is historical romance, which to me, like, Regency era is... I did hyperfixate on it. Okay, just so everyone knows, I did. But, like, Regency era to me is not my favorite romance trope and not my favorite romance time period. But I did enjoy the book. It was a nice read, and I think if you are thinking of reading it and you've watched the show, you should definitely go give it a read. I do like the fact, too, and an important thing to point out, that in the books now, the epilogues are included. So they are not separate books like they used to be. That's why this one's a little bit thicker than, say, like, another one. I did really like the quotes I got from this. I also like the fact, too, that Simon did really care about Daphne and her personal preferences. And in the book, Simon did tell Daphne, like, I can't give you what you want. You want kids. I don't want kids. I can't have kids. This is why I can't marry you. But I do really want to read the second book. And I did enjoy it. It's just a 3-star read for me. On to what I'm currently reading, and then I will peace on out of here and probably read some more. So I have to have 2 books going at once. I don't know why, unless if it's a book like Unsteady that I pick up and finish in one entire day. I have to have 2 books going. Honestly, I think I should give Unsteady a 5-star. I'm gonna change that, because I've reread it so much. Like, it's one of my favorite books. I'm changing that if it's not already. Let me make sure. But oh no, it is already 5. Okay, so I have 2 5-stars for the year. Unsteady and Kingdom of Ash, 2 very different genres. That's how these books are. So It's Not Summer Without You. This is the second book in the Summer I Turned Pretty series. I'm currently on chapter 25, which is page 158 in this series. This will honestly probably be done by tonight. I might honestly just power through and finish It's Not Summer Without You. So second book in the Summer I Turned Pretty series. I've already read the first one. I read that last summer. To me, any book with summer in the title just has to be read in summer. I don't make the rules. It's just like I wouldn't pick up my Christmas romance right now. Like, also, I live in Florida, so, like, you're gonna... Well, it doesn't snow here anyways, but, like, I'm not gonna read a book about it snowing outside and them frolicking around in the snow when it's, like, 103 degrees outside. No, it's summer series. So I'm reading this book, and then hopefully I'll be done with it soon. The next book I picked up is From Blood and Ash. So Margaret gifted me this copy. It's for the release of one of the books that she has. This book did travel with me to Spain, so it is a little banged up, but I think books should be banged up personally. That's just a me thing. I'm 100, from what I'm seeing here, I'm 178 pages into it. I might be further on my Kindle. I can't remember the last time I opened this and checked my Kindle pages to this page, and I don't think my Kindle is actually synced. Let's see. It might only be my phone that's synced. I don't have Wi-Fi at the moment, so it does make it a little interesting, the whole not having internet thing. Oh yeah, no, my phone, my Kindle is saying I'm at 139. I'm not. I'm definitely further. So, From Blood and Ash, I'm reading it. It's been kind of slow. It's just now picking up. This will probably be done by the end of the month. So, these are my 2 current reads. I did also pick up a couple books as I've been around, because I have to go look at the book section no matter where I am. And I have picked up some books recently. I picked up the Spanish version of ACOTAR because I wanted to read a book in Spanish by the end of the year. So I bought a book I've already read, but I wanted to reread. so I could do a Spanish reread of that. So I have ACOTAR in Spanish, and then I bought The Night Circus, which was a blind book, like a blind date with a book that I bought. I'm excited to read that. I don't think I would have ever picked that book up, so I'm excited for that. And then I also have The Serpent and the Wings, The Serpent and something. Once again, let's see if it's on my Kindle. Probably not. But it's all over the internet right now. Can't remember the name. I do want to look at it, but I also know too that my phone is the only Kindle app that's synced and I'm recording on it. So stay tuned for that. I will post a book haul not long from now on my Bookstagram for everyone to check out. Once again, that is Ave's Reading Corner, and it is linked down below, along with my personal Instagram that I do cross post some of my book stuff on, at least on my stories. Every time I post something, I post it on there, so you can check that all out. And then other than that, that is my books. If you guys do want to read my reviews in full depth, do check out the Bookstagram. I've reviewed every book except for Throne of Glass series books, so Kingdom of Ash hasn't been reviewed yet. Like I said, I do kind of want to try and keep spoilers away, so I haven't posted anything on this, but all the current books I've read are on there if you do want to check them out. And that is pretty much it from me. If you made it all the way through, comment the book emoji. If you've read any of these books, okay, I'm going to give each book an emoji, and if you've read one or you want to read it, send me the emoji that I'm going to give it. And I will put the key down below in the comments, because I know that this is going to get real confusing. Okay, let's go. Wolf. Come on, werewolf romance. It needs a wolf. Bridgerton. I can't say that. Let's do a horse. Do a little horse moment, because Daphne does ride a horse in this book. Same time next summer, let's do a sun. Hockey. A hockey stick. Duh. Wildfire. Even though it's a hockey, I want the camping tent because they're at summer camp. Kingdom of Ash. Do something kingdom related. A sword, a crown. I don't know, whatever your keyboard has. But that is it for me today. And I will see you guys next week on Sunday, because this is probably going to be my upload schedule. And I hope you guys do something for yourself today. Brush your teeth, take your meds, take a walk, you know, the whole 9 yards. And I will see you guys back here next week. Bye.